So I feel like just talking really quickly about, and I was thinking about this earlier today. The dangers of making somebody else the center of your world. It can be your mother, it can be your husband, it can be your wife, it can be your sister, your best friend. But in this case, I really want to talk about a mate, okay? The reason why I want to talk about a mate is because I'm very clear that I'm in the afterlife, okay? And some people who might not see it that way is because you're in my afterlife. I'm not in your afterlife. And so the reason why some people don't get it is because they come from their creation of my subconscious mind. And when I say my subconscious mind, I'm not necessarily talking about the person who's speaking right now, because this is just where my conscious awareness is. I'm talking about the person I am that's above this particular realm, okay? That's literally out of what you would call the firmament. That's not on earth. The real me is not on earth. The earth is a figment of my imagination, okay? I don't know if it exists in anybody else's subconscious mind, but this earth is not real. It's a part of my afterlife. But let me get off of that because that's not what this is about. Other people talk about Earth, and when I see them talk about Earth, it's because it's my own it's my dream, right? When you in a dream, you're dreaming of something, and everybody seems real to you, but it's really your dream, right? But let me talk about this afterlife and the dangers of making somebody else the center of your world, especially somebody else is not important. I'm gonna say this, and it's not because I perfected this. It's because I know it to be the truth, right? Never make anybody else the center of your world. I don't even care if it's your children, because your children will let you down too. I don't even care if it's your children. And when I say, you say, yeah, it should be you. Well, not you as in the sense of the imperfect you that you are right now. That person should not be the center of your world either. The center of your world in from what I continue to be shown is your innermost truth. I call it the most high. I call it the most high, your innermost truth. Okay? And that is the only thing that needs to be the center of my world, let me say. That is the only thing that needs to be the center of my world, because my innermost truth will not let me down. Never ever will it ever let me down. It's perfect. It's incorruptible. That now some people can say God, whatever. But when it comes, I don't. Let me stop, because see what happens is when I talk about some of the things I've seen, when it comes to the religion and some of the deities that I've seen that people are worshiping, that's going into a whole different conversation, and I don't want to do that. My innermost truth is the only one that I trust. I don't really have trust in some other deity that I consider to be outside. There's nothing outside of me. I want to say that. But I still don't want to give power to something else that is perceived to be outside of me. I don't want to give power to this, because you gotta make sure they never let you down. And one thing I know for sure, that my most innermost truth is never going to let me down, because it's incorruptible. It knows everything. It has all the answers. It's actually the one that I come from. It will never, ever disappoint me. And that's the only thing that needs to be the center of my world and nothing else. Okay? Not Oshun, not anything else that's a deity. Okay? Now when people say Christ, well, some people, when they talk about Christ, they're thinking of a person, right? When I see Christ, I go by what I see, and outside of the physical. And when I do meditations and what I really see, what it really looks like, I don't see a person. I don't see anything that looks like a human being. Okay? And so I go by that. So when I say Christ, I'm talking about something else that's shown to me, and not necessarily a man, some vision of a man that's given to you on TV. Okay? But I want to say that because this afterlife is what I'm learning is that in the other world, I believe, still am married. So, actually, I am married because this is my subconscious mind. This is the afterlife. And the real me is still, I don't want to say too much just yet because I don't know if it's really safe. But I'll just say, in actuality, I'm really married. But the thing is, something happened where my conscious awareness is here, and this would be considered my afterlife. I'm in my subconscious mind. Like if you go to have a dream or something, like I'm in my subconscious mind. Okay? And something happened in that marriage, in the real world that I'm really in, that's not earth, in the real world. Something happened where my heart was extremely broken by the one that I'm married to. And the reason I know that because when I keep asking about the things that I work on, is showing something about a broken heart. Now you have to master the heart too, but you can't master the heart in your own human strength. That's not, how do you do that? That can't be possible. You're imperfect. Some people, as far as my practices, I'm not seeing where your own ego and your own human strength, you're going to master the heart. Because it's going to take something that knows more than you know right now. Okay? But I was extremely heartbroken. Something happened. And my whole thing of being here where I am, not to say that I did everything right, but a whole lot of what I'm dealing with, what I'm seeing is extreme heartbreak. Let me tell you something. That heartbreak that comes from a mate, I'm going to have to say it could be worse than losing your parent. And the reason I know that is because I lost a parent. I've lost a parent. It's a lot of things that's happened in my life. I've had so many disappointments. I've had times where just not having a place to live. I've had so many disappointing moments in my life. And nothing compares to the heartbreak that comes from a mate. Now, I don't know about children because I don't have children. But I know what it's like to lose a parent. That I do know. And for some reason, that still don't compare to the heartbreak that comes from a mate that you really, really, really love, that you have made your center of your world. And some people can be self-righteous all they want to and say, oh, well, you shouldn't do that anyway. Well, I know that's what I just said. But that's not what people do. Most people that you will see, the mate that they are really, whether it's their husband that they've been married to for 40-something years or 50-something years, that mate is for the most part their center unless they're just married to just be married. Okay? That mate is their center. I don't care what's the right thing to do because a lot of us know the right thing to do and we do not do it. So I'm not really trying to be self-righteous, even though I just said that nobody should be your center. The only reason I say that because that's the truth, but that's easier said than done. When you have to live that life, it's hard to practice that. Because you're living in a life that's really kind of on a lower vibration. Okay? And where people pretty much worship themselves. Ego-driven world. But when I talk about what that does, what happens in the afterlife, what that does to your subconscious mind, Oh, they outside cutting the grass. So if you hear something, I have the gardeners outside cutting grass. Yeah, so you hear a lawnmower because the gardener's outside cutting grass. So hopefully you can still hear me. Um, but I will say that to say that I might have done some things in the real world where I still am. I might have done some things that's not perfect, right? But my whole thing of being here in this afterlife is because of a heartbreak. That literally would drag you to the pits of hell. Making somebody the center of your world and they break your heart like that would literally drag you into the pits of hell once you transition. Because when you transition, whatever is weighing the heaviest on you is where your conscious awareness is where you're going to end up, right? Oh my gosh, okay. It's loud. Sorry, they cut in the backyard. Whatever is weighing the heaviest on you is where you're going to eventually be down. It doesn't matter what in your conscious mind that you say that you want to be happy. You try to say all these positive things. Whatever is weighing heavily is where you're going to end up once you transition. And so that is why I'm saying that nobody. Because they can literally drag you to the pits of hell. Somebody is the center of your world just because you're married to them, whether it's a man or a woman. I don't want to make this about a specific gender, man or woman, or it could be your children, because the children can, I don't know what it's like to have a child. But a child can really break their parents' heart too. And that level of heartbreak sticks with the person. And if they have not found a way to kind of resolve that, and they still have that heartbreak going on, when they transition, that's going to be something that, if it's weighing the heaviest on them, that's going to determine where they're going to be in the afterlife. That's what I'm saying. It's going to determine where they're going to be in the afterlife. And where they end up in the afterlife might be something that's not so pretty, because it's literally dragging you down to the lowest pits of hell. Okay? That's why not the children, not a husband, not a wife, not a mother, not a father, not a friend, not a cousin. It don't matter who it is. Or a partner, whatever you want to call it. Should never be the center of your world, because they are still corruptible. They are still not perfect. Nothing that is corruptible should ever be the center of your world. They are not perfect. They should never be the center. This is a lesson that I'm learning in the afterlife. And with that being said, I'm not interested in dating. That's why I say so many times that I'm completely against people pushing, specifically brown women, but it's for anybody. But I'm speaking specifically about brown women because it seems like everybody is so concerned about brown women being with somebody. Like if a brown woman is single, it's a problem. But every other woman can be single. But if a brown woman is single, something is wrong, I guess, because it's a large number of brown women that are single, that it's a topic of conversation. But I think it's by design that brown women are single, because it's time for brown women to rise back up. And for them to rise back up, they cannot be distracted by these people that want to hold them down, like conscious-wise, right? Keep them on a low consciousness. They can't be distracted by that. I think it's by design that so many brown women are single. Okay? Because it's time for them to rise back up. The ones that are chosen. Okay? And with that being said, I'm not interested in until I have completely made the Most High the center of my world, the center of my existence, until my complete source comes from the Most High. I'm not interested in anybody else. I'm not interested in making anybody else an idol. You realize you make somebody else an idol. When somebody else is the center of your world, they're your idol. They are your idol. But even when you make yourself the way you are right now, your imperfect self, when you make that the center of your world, you make yourself an idol. That's narcissism. That's still narcissism. Everybody's a narcissist. But until I completely have made, because I don't want to say until I get back to where my highest vibration or whatever you call it. I don't want to say, well, I'll never be with anybody until I get to that place. I don't want to say that, because that's kind of like I'm kind of keeping myself from experiencing life. I'm put here for a reason, and I don't want to keep myself from experiencing some kind of happiness and joy and just good times in my life because of a fear of a heartbreak. Well, I don't. What I really know, but what I need to really put into practice, because I already know it, but not now. It needs to become real. Is that when you make the Most High, it says it in the Bible. This is why I won't get rid of. God dang, I'm sorry. They're cutting the grass. Hold on, I'm sorry. What I know is that it says in the Bible, the first commandment, love the Lord with all your heart and all your strength. When I say the Lord, I'm not talking about some visual person or graven image that you've been given in the third dimension. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about what patriarchal religion gave you. I am not talking about that when I talk about the Lord. Okay? I feel like that's how you master the heart right there. That's the only way you can master the heart, because you cannot master the heart in your own human imperfect strength. How are you going to master the heart when you don't know everything? You're not fully enlightened. So if you're not fully enlightened, how do you really master the heart in your own imperfect human strength? It's not possible. But when you love the Lord, and when I say the Lord, to me, I'm talking about my highest truth, my innermost truth. When you love the Lord with all your heart and all your strength, that's how you perfect, master the heart. Love the Lord with all your heart. I feel like that's how you master the heart. And when I really get into fully love the Lord with all my heart and all my strength, and make the Most High my center and make the Most High my world, then nothing else is going to disappoint me, because I'm going to be in a higher mind, in a higher way of thinking, to know that nobody is perfect, so don't have these high expectations of people. Okay? But anyway, kiddos, it's time for me to just get off for a little second. I have something I have to do. But anyway, that'll be it, and I will talk later.